Hello everyone and welcome to today's Starseed Healing Circle. So I have a kinesiology session scheduled for today. We have done all of the dowsing beforehand and we've checked in to see what is needed, and I'll be guiding you through this process. On your side, I would suggest if you can have a notepad and pen and paper ready, that'll be awesome because you can stop or pause the recording at any time and make a few notes. With a session, you want to be able to feel deeply what the emotion is when we do the correction, even if the emotion doesn't really make much sense, but we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. Let's start with our tune in. So let's go. Our tune in for today is the Multiple Blessings Lightcode Activation. So perhaps start with closing your eyes, taking a few slow deep breaths in and out, and just getting to that focus, what it is that you want to work with today. Whether it's something that you want to manifest, something you want to bring into your life, something you want to heal. What would you like to focus on today? And when you have your focus in mind, and you may need to pause the recording over here, I would like you to see if you can form a sentence with this. And I'll give you a little heads up. The shorter the sentence, the better. If you can find a way to summarize everything that you want to work with in a very short, concise sentence, that'll be amazing. The sentence usually is in the positive, something like I am or I have, whatever it will be. And yeah, so if you've got, I'll just talk about it while we've got the light code up. So if you've got three things that you want to work with, perhaps there's something that you want to heal, something you want to release, and something you want to manifest, see if you can find what the overlap is between all three of those items, and then summarize that into a short sentence of I am blah blah blah, or I have blah blah blah. Keep it all positive, keep it all in the present tense for the goal. Okay, so you may need to spend a bit of time over here with this one. When you are ready with your goal, your little story, your sentence, your easy sentence, and this is an easy sentence for you to remember because this is going to come up later in the balance as well. Then open your eyes and allow your eyes to rest on the light code, and perhaps trace the light code like it's a labyrinth for your eyes. No need to analyze or translate or interpret. Just focus on your goal and letting your eyes rest on the light code where they feel like resting, or trace them. And when you're ready, we're going to move on to the balance. Okay, so hopefully you've got your goal all set up. The goal, really, really important that it must be a short, concise, present tense sentence. It makes it easier for later. Sometimes people get excited and they write a whole paragraph. But in some of the corrections that we do, if you have a really long sentence, it can trip you over a little bit. So the shorter the sentence, the better. Okay, now you are going to have to do some connecting work as well. So this is why I'm wanting you to have the notepad or paper ready. In relation to your goal, which hopefully you've written down, what is going to block you from getting to that goal is an emotion. And the emotion that we have here is hope. And it's in relation to emotional expression. So hope is not necessarily a negative emotion, but where is hope standing in the way of you getting to this goal. Emotional expression is part of this hope story. So what emotions are you not expressing? Which emotions are you hoping to express? And what's stopping you from actually expressing those emotions? And then here's the little trip up. Where does this hope pull you away from your purpose? Okay, so you may need to think a little bit about this. If you can't connect with this as an emotion or as a reality for you, then drop into the emotion of hope in relation to emotional expression, in relation to misalignment of purpose, in relation to your goal, and just imagine what would it be like if you felt this emotion in relation to your goal. Okay, so yeah, if you don't feel that specific emotion, make it up. It doesn't matter if it's made up or if it's fake or whatever. Our brain can't distinguish between made up things or reality. So even if you make it up, it'll still bring that healing that you need. Okay, so then pause here if you need. You're going to do lots of pausing today if you need them. Just hit that pause button. Okay, then we have a sabotage that comes in. Sabotages are subconscious triggers or programs that kick in when we want to achieve things. Now, there's loads of them. We are working specifically with your goal in mind today. If you do this balance tomorrow with a different goal, you'll have a different response to each of these things. So just feel into that. The sabotage that comes up is I enjoy my body and move freely. Or the flip side of that, I don't enjoy my body and move freely. We could also add don'ts in other places. So I enjoy my body and don't move freely. Don't know how that's going to work. I enjoy my body and don't move freely. So any combinations of those. So here we're looking at enjoyment of the body and movement or freedom within the body. So these are subconscious sabotages. You may not be aware of these. So I'll forgive you if you go like, what the hell? It may come back to you later, but you may also go like, okay, yeah, I get what that is about. So think about enjoyment of the body and movement, free movement. The emotion that comes up in relation to this sabotage is truth, and it's in relation to active intelligence. So I guess, well, I mean, in the last 3 years that we've had to really dig through the truth. Some people just accepted what was given to them. Other people questioned everything. Here it's about really being active with your intelligence, staying active with all of that, and finding the truth within all of that. So filtering the truth. So again, you'll need to take this back to your enjoyment of your body and your freedom of movement, truth and active intelligence. Are you working actively on your intelligence to find the truth? Find ways that this is going to connect to you. I feel that this one's going to be quite a deep one. But yeah. So again, pause whenever you need to do here, journal, write, make notes about all of these things. You're going to get some insights by the end of this session. Then, where is my pendulum? Let me just quickly get this one out. Which one do I want to use? Sorry, I just want to quickly switch pendulums over here. Let's just check which one had to come up. I should have dials for that before I started. Okay, so we've got the Mirror Isis coming up. Okay, so I want you to just tune in for a moment, and I'm just going to do a dowse here while I'm doing this. I'm going to ask a question, and I want you to just get a sensation of what you feel within the body. No need to interpret or anything, just get a sense of what you feel. As soon as you hear that sentence, you may feel a little twinge or a little or whatever. Doesn't matter what it is, just feel what you feel. Do you feel off balance or disorganized in relation to your goal? Do you feel yourself achieve your goal? Can you sustain your energy to meet your goal? Okay. So I just needed to get a check on that to see how they respond, because we're going to be checking those again at the end of the session. Okay. From a meridian perspective, I'm not going to go through any of those. I'm going to dive right into the corrections. Now, I've done quite a bit of other dowsing beforehand, but that's more assessment stuff, and I'm not going to go and go through all of that. So for you just need to know how to do your corrections and where you need to do what corrections. Okay, so the first correction that comes up is pendulum healing, and pendulum healing, I then dowsed through and I found we're working with the universal pendulums. We've got 4 settings it's going to go through. I'm going to do those now while we are online. On your side, we're looking at the emotion childlike, and it's in relation to productivity. So when we look at each of these corrections and balances that comes up now, take it back to your goal, whatever your goal may be. How does childlike and productivity relate to that? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly set this up for our work. So we are on, okay, violet as a color that's going to come through. We're on the black pendulum, the lunar black. It's a white, but it's lunar black because of the little black spot. And we're working on the second octave. The second octave is mental emotional stuff. So what I want you to do is you just think about childlike in relation to productivity. I am spinning this pendulum. You can close your eyes and just breathe nice and slow and deep. So violet as a color generally brings in a cleansing quality. Also a regenerative quality. So working on the mental emotional side and on the electromagnetic space. So to work on body and spirit. Lunar black generally is more of the yin side. That one's done. And now we're going to switch over to lunar white, which is the yang energy, the masculine energy, or the active energy. Okay, we're staying on the electromagnetic spectrum. We're looking at white. So bringing in the color of white. This is also going to be on the second octave. Yeah. Oh, we bring in 3 energies. So we bring in 4. Okay. Okay, so again, just focus. We bring in next pendulum. We bring in the white frequency. So this is purity. We are also looking on the second octave, so it's still working with the mental, emotional side. Keep focusing on your goal. Keep focusing on the emotion of childlike in relation to productivity, whatever that may mean for you. Okay. And then we've got another color. Next one is indigo. So I'm just setting that one up. And indigo here is on the first octave. So first octave is spiritual level. And here we go. Sending in indigo. So just nice slow deep breathing, focusing on childlike and productivity. Indigo usually works as a seal, so it contracts the energy and seals the energy. There we go. That's all done. Okay, so yeah, you want to just check back at some stage what's happening within your notes. Okay, so oopsie, where am I now? I wanted to go to this one. Our next correction, we are going to be working with some eye rotations, and we've had eye rotations pop up a number of times before. So with eye rotations, the big secret here is that you want to stretch your eyes. Now, this is quite a complicated image, but what you do is you see that it's numbered. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It goes clockwise, counterclockwise. It doesn't matter which one comes first or how you go, whatever is comfortable for you. But what you want to do is stretch your eyes. The easiest way that I find for me is I imagine a really big box in front of me, and I look up to the middle of the box, to the corner of the box, to the middle of the box, corner, middle, corner, middle, corner, middle, and then I reverse that. If you just go like, I'm just going to willy-nilly rotate my eyes, you end up going, your eyes flicker and they go in all different directions and you get stuck in specific locations. So really imagine this box, go methodically, go top, corner, middle, corner, middle, corner, middle, corner. That'll make your eyes go nice, smooth directions. The eye rotations allows us to access different parts of the brain. And we work with our eyes open and eyes closed. So we're going to do a full rotation, eyes open, reverse the direction, eyes open, then close your eyes, full rotation, and reverse your direction. So however fast or slow that's going to be for you. With all of that, we're also going to have, where am I going to go? We're going to have an affirmation. So the affirmation that came up here, the specific affirmation that came up was gemstone affirmations, and the gemstone that came up is the diamond, and the diamond affirmation is, I have clarity and understanding to bring about and implement positive changes and changes in my life. And what I've done is I've added on, even if I don't know how to. So what I'm going to suggest you do is you get comfortable. Don't focus on what's written down here. I will guide you through that. And I'm going to repeat this affirmation a few times, and hopefully that'll give you enough time to do your eye rotations while you are repeating the affirmation. Okay, so I would also suggest put your ring finger and thumb together. Where's my hand there? And we're going to use the index finger and middle finger to tap behind the ears. So when we do the tapping behind the ears and we do the eye rotations, that's like a sign to the brain that says, find and replace all of these things, and this is really important. Focus on this. We want to bring this into our lives, and the different angles that we're looking at is the different parts of our brain, or the different aspects of the brain. Okay, so ready? Ring finger, index finger together. You're going to tap behind the ears, and I'll read the affirmation. You can repeat it after me. Let's go. I have clarity and understanding to bring about and implement positive choices and changes in my life, even if I don't know how to. I have clarity and understanding to bring about and implement positive changes and changes, or positive choices and changes, into my life, even if I don't know how to. I have clarity and understanding to bring about and implement positive choices and changes in my life, even if I don't know how to. Okay, that's it. You can come back. Oh, I forgot to say what our emotion was. Our emotion that came up here is in tune with, and it's in relation to fire. So in tune with fire, whatever that may mean for you. Perhaps something comes to mind. Perhaps there's some affinity to fire or something. In tune with fire. So that's okay with that one. Then our next correction that came up was grounding. So it's very, very important that you stay grounded in whatever you do. And the emotion that comes up in relation to the specific correction is assured, and it's in relation to opportunities. Assured in relation to opportunities. Perhaps it is that you're looking for assurance within opportunities. Perhaps there's opportunities that bring assurance, whatever that may be. Again, how does that relate to your goal? From a grounding perspective, we have, I think there's about 20 grounding techniques. And I tested through to see which activity is needed for grounding. And what came up was sunshine. So spending time in sunshine, as little as 5 to 10 minutes a day. That's all you need. So you don't need to go and spend hours and hours in the sun, but try and get 5 to 10 minutes a day where you can be in sunshine. If you can be in a space where you can put your feet down on the floor, on the ground, like bare feet, and just soak up the sun for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Do that. It'll help you with your grounding. And so that's going to be it for this particular correction. That's your homework. So I would say just make a note of that and see if you can make that happen. I've got no sun on this side today, so I'm going to have to wait for the clouds to disappear. Okay, our next correction is parasitic energy. Now, parasitic energy normally comes up, this correction comes up when there is it could be a person, a situation, an event, thoughts. It could be anything that's draining your energy. Sometimes it could even be something like EMF, electrosmog, and things like that. So parasitic energy, this is definitely something that's a tough one. We all have it, but the correction is actually very, very simple. And let's do this. The emotion that comes up here is empathy, and it's in relation to war. Okay, so this could be a warring that happens within the family. It could be a warring that happens within yourself. It could be a warring that happens in the outside world. And how are you getting empathy? Now, remember, we're working with a parasitic energy. This is something that's draining your energy. So I find, especially where we are right now in the world news can be very, very draining. How much time do you spend on YouTube and Facebook and all the different news platforms looking at what's happening in the world, especially around the war, perhaps? And how is your empathy actually becoming the feeding tube for this parasitic energy? If that makes sense. So where are you losing energy? Just review your days and just see where are you losing energy. It doesn't even necessarily have to be war. It could be anything. It just could be mindless scrolling on Instagram. It could be eating or whatever it is. Find what that energy is that is draining you, what is holding you back from achieving your goal, and how are you feeding that? Through empathy. Okay, so empathy is a positive emotion, but if you are losing too much of yourself with that empathy, then that's not healthy anymore. Okay, so ready for this correction? What you want to do is place one hand on your forehead and one hand on the back of your head for the duration of this particular correction. You'll close your eyes, breathe nice and slow and deep. Focus on the emotion of empathy in relation to how you are being drained, perhaps. And I want you to visualize yourself as a tree or a shrub or a bush or a plant. Whatever feels comfortable for you. Just use your unlimited power of your mind to visualize yourself as this plant or tree. Settle into that skin. And then imagine that you've got a parasitic plant growing on you. Something that perhaps strangles you a little bit, or something that's like could be a fungus, or it could be something that like really wraps and strangles around you. Just see this parasitic plant growing on you. Parasitic plant obviously will drain all of your resources, all the moisture you pull from the ground, all your resources you gain from the sunlight. This parasitic plant will take that from you and drain you. Now imagine that you can evolve as a plant. So you can grow, and you can even speed it up time-wise. So we're moving through time, and you are evolving to have a defense against this parasitic plant. It could be anything. It could be perhaps your bark becomes really slimy or sticky, or perhaps your bark grows thorns or razors or whatever it is. However you evolve, perhaps your plant evolves a poison that kills the parasite. So find whatever that is, evolve your plant, so use unlimited power of your mind and make that evolution happen within your plant, and then see how that releases the parasite. Stay here as long as you need. So you want to get to a place where this parasite can no longer have a hold on you as your plant. When you're ready, you may open your eyes, you may release your hands. If you need to make any notes, just pause the recording. Okay, so all of these corrections that came up to now, these were in the present time. Now we're going to go into the past, and we want to release some of the stuff from the past. Okay, so usually with kinesiology sessions, when it comes to past balances and corrections, we check where and when it is in the past, and we try and make a correlation. Because we're working with a group, I'm going to keep this as non-specified age recession, which is just a fancy word. It's a kinesiology term for it doesn't matter when it happened in the past. It's not important for you to remember. But if you do remember a time and place, just make a note of that. If anything comes up for you, also during the correction itself, if anything comes up, make a note of that. Okay, so the first correction that's coming up is a neuro-emotional reflex. Now, the neuro-emotional reflexes usually come up with emotional stuff. So this is emotional things that we want to release. And the emotion that we have here is aware, and it's in relation to self-worth. So we'll basically, you want to go into the past to any awareness that you've had to self-worth, and you want to focus on that. Now, I hope you can see these pink dots on these images. So the first pink dot is just here at the bottom, just on top of your sternum. That there's a soft little round area. That's going to be the one point. Other point is just at the base of the skull, and then the other point is above the knee. So if you are sitting with your knees, it's maybe about 2 fingers or so just above your knee. And if you find that point, it's on the medial side, on the inside of the knee. When you find that point, if you rub in that area, you'll feel this one point that feels a little bit bruised or tender. That's usually the spot. Okay, so we are going to be rubbing these points. Your focus is going to be completely on aware in relation to self-worth. So bring all of your awareness to self-worth, and you take 2 fingers, index finger, middle finger, put them together while we do the rubbing. So we're just taking the first one just here above your sternum, just at the bottom base of your throat, and just rub that point. We're going to be rubbing this for about 30 seconds, focusing on awareness around self-worth. Now you may find as you're rubbing this point and you want to put a little bit of pressure on that, you may find that the point is actually a little bit tender, and that's good. You don't want to bruise yourself, but you want to apply enough pressure while you rub. Breathe slow and deep. Okay. Point to the back of your head, so just at the base of your skull. Rubbing for another 30 seconds over here. You'll feel there's a little bit of a ridge at the base of the skull. You're just rubbing in the center there, focusing on your breath. Okay, and then our next point's just above the knees. So I'm sitting about 2 fingers just above the kneecap. And then rub with, you can use your thumbs over here. It makes it a bit easier to rub. And when you find that spot, you'll feel it's a little bit tender. It's just in the inside of the knee. There'll probably be a close-up picture in the description. It makes it a bit easier if you don't see it on the video. So just rub. This one you can apply a little bit more pressure. It's just the spleen meridian. The spleen meridian is usually associated with anxiety. Okay, all done. Neuro-emotionals. So this is about releasing of emotional energies. Okay, now the next one we're going to have to get creative as well. There's loads of points here. Our next correction that comes up is I'll have to switch my video off here, I think. Let's see. Yeah, because the little pink dot is behind my face. Okay. Maybe not, just wait. Before we complicate things, let's just explain what we're working with. So we're working here with reactive meridians. Your meridians, we've got the 14 meridians running through the body, and they work together with each other. So it's like it's a team. What happens occasionally, and it's in relation to goals and things like that, you may find that 2 of the meridians don't meet or come face to face, or they don't meet eye to eye. And so one can become a little bit of a bully to another one and punches the other one. Now you don't need to understand the mechanics of the different meridians, but what we'll do is we are going to weaken the bully, and then we're going to strengthen the bullied. And so then we're going to get them both to work together again. So basically it's like going onto the playground, taking the bully and beating him up a little bit and saying, sit in your corner, and then we're going to beef up the other one so that they are equal, so that they don't fight with each other anymore. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit of a complicated one. We need neutral touch with these points. So you're either going to use your index finger, middle finger, or you're going to use your thumb. Doesn't matter which way you go, but it's one of those. And sometimes we'll need to do things where you maybe have 2 fingers on something and a thumb on something else, depending on where we are. We're going to see how we're going to do this now. I have prepared all the images, but I haven't actually done any analysis to see what we are working with. So I'll guide you through it. I'll do it with you. Okay, so our first point that we have is the gallbladder meridian. And the point there is, and you only have to do one side. You don't have to do both sides of so pick a side that works for you. It's about 4 fingers above your malleolus, above the ankle bone on the outside. So the outside ankle bone, the one that's in line with your little baby toe. So put 4 fingers above your baby toe, and in line with, not above your baby toe, above your ankle bone, and it's in line with the ankle bone. That's going to be 1 point. So you're going to hold that point, and then with your other hand, with the other hand, then at the base of the little finger, you're going to hold the other hand. So I'm doing this funny twisted story where I've got my left hand on my left ankle or left leg, and my right hand is sitting on my left wrist, side of the wrist. And we want to hold this. This is just a very light pressure. Emotion that's coming up here is solitude, and it's in relation to influence. Solitude in relation to influence. This is taking us back to the past again as well. So just focus on the emotion of solitude in relation to influence. Keep holding these points. I'm going to quickly switch over to the next 2 points for us. So the next 2 points, we're staying with the gallbladder. This is going to be the second last toe, so one just next to the baby toe, and it's on the nail. So I'm just going to put my foot on my chair, and I'm using my thumb on the second last toe, and I'm using my index finger and middle finger on the other hand. So my left thumb is on my second last toe nail bed, and my right hand is on the ring or on the index finger nail bed, just in the corner of the nail. These points that we're working with now is to weaken the bully. Okay, keep holding that point while you're doing that. I'm going to skip to our next 2 points. Okay, so this is on the inside of the foot. I'm just going to stick to using my left hand. I'll put my index finger, middle finger on the bone next to the big toe. And then my other 2 fingers will go onto the palm of the hand in line with the baby fingers. So just looking at those 2. Again, just very light holds. We are now working on strengthening the bulid. Looking at solitude in relation to influence. Okay, and keep holding that point for now. There's our next 2 points. This is actually a very easy one. It's just on either side of the nail bed, the corner of the nail on the big toe, and I'm just putting a thumb on each corner. So one is on the inside of the big toe, one's on the outside of the big toe, but they're both basically right. So if your foot is on your chair, it's right on top, the corner of the nail bed for each side. Breathe slow and deep, focusing on solitude in relation to influence. Okay, that's it. You can let go of that. And we are back again. Okay. Right. Last correction for the past. And this correction is the accumulation point correction. Now, the accumulation point correction usually comes up in situations where there's a lot of repressed emotions, especially when it's anger or frustration or things like that, that's held on to, that's not expressed. So the accumulation points is about points on the meridian system where we can blow off the steam. So it's like if it's a pressure cooker, these are the little button that we can go to depressurize. So you want to look at the past, anywhere in the past where you felt under or unappreciated in relation to people. So it could be people who's not appreciating you, or however that makes sense to you, unappreciated in relation to people. Okay, so let's go do our accumulation points, and let's get our image up. Okay, the first 2 points is going to be the same as what we've done with our neuro-emotionals. So just the base of the neck, so under top of the sternum and the back of the head. And then the other point is going to be about 4 fingers. So when you put 4 fingers above your malleolus on your ankle, so on the inside of the ankle, 4 fingers in, and it's on the sides, just behind the bone, sort of on the side of the calf or so. So if you had to draw a line running on the inside of your leg. Okay, so for that one, we're going to be rubbing these points. So for that particular point, you can use your thumb. For the other 2, index finger, middle finger, we always want to do a neutral touch. So focusing on unappreciated as an emotion, let's rub here at the base of the throat, and we're looking at the top of the sternum. Doesn't have to be a very heavy rub, but you do want to apply a bit of pressure. Breathe slow and deep. Okay, we're going to move to the back of the head. It's on that occipital ridge. Focusing on unappreciated. Blowing off some steam over here. This is somewhere in the past, so it's not now where these are happening. This is anywhere in the past. Could be from a long time ago, it could be from something recent, but we're releasing that because it's no longer serving us. Okay, and then if you put your ankle, cross your ankle over onto your lap, maybe 4 fingers just above your malleolus, your ankle bone, and then you'll find the spot just above your 4 fingers and just rub over there. Luckily, these points are quite forgiving, so if you don't have the exact right point, it will still work. Just rub in that area. This one is on my side actually quite sensitive, so you never know. Just see how it feels on your side. Good. And we can let go. All done. Okay, so next we're moving into the future part of the balance. So for the future, usually we also check how far in the future it is. Normally the future correction is just something that we do to make sure that if there's a stressful situation coming in the next how many ever days, that your body doesn't go back into its old ways. So what we're basically doing is we are saying, if and when something happens, we've got this little extra block in place that helps you to just have that strength that you need. The correction that came up here is the wounded spirit. Now, the wounded spirit correction usually is related to something that's past related. So how our spirit was wounded in the past and how we can work with it in the present or in the future. And so I tested through, we've got a whole different arrangement of affirmations that work with this, and we had to do the meridian affirmations and goals. So this is where your goal comes in, and you want your goal nice and clear. The emotion that comes up here is spaced out, and it's in relation to parenting. So remember, this is a future correction. So future as in not like 5 years into the future. We're looking at anything. It could be anything from 5 minutes into the future to maybe a week into the future. So the maximum that I normally come across is about 2 weeks. But it's normally it's about like a day or two in the future. So we're not looking at far future. So if you don't have kids, it could be just about parenting, about what parenting means to you. If you have kids, what parenting means, spaced out as an emotion. Okay, whatever that may mean for you. Our correction here is going to be eye rotations again. I believe you all know how to do those. Big box eye rotations, ring finger and index finger, ring finger and thumb together, index finger, middle fingers tapping behind the ears. Okay. While you are doing that, you are going to use your affirmation. And we're going to use it in such a way where you say, when I think about, the ... is where you put your goal in. So if you have a goal that's a paragraph long, you are going to have to repeat or read or say that paragraph long affirmation or goal, which is why I told you to keep that goal really, really, really short. So if your goal is still very, very long, you may want to just give it a quick squiz over and see, is there a way that I can make this shorter? So for example, let's say my goal is I am safe. What we will do is, when you say I think about, we can shorten it a little bit and say, when I think about my safety, I welcome beneficial change. If my goal was I love myself, I accept myself, and I approve of myself, then I can say, when I think about self-love, self-approval, and self-acceptance, I welcome beneficial change. Okay, so you can tweak it a little bit just to see how that will fit in. Okay, so eye rotations with the goal. What you can do if you feel that I welcome beneficial change is too strong of a affirmation, and you go like, well, I don't quite know how, then you can add to that, I welcome beneficial change even if I don't know how to. When we add even if I don't know how to an affirmation, it puts it into 0 point and it allows your body to accept the affirmation a lot easier. So I'll add that in while we work with this. So eye rotations. And I'll repeat this a few times, and then allow you going to do eyes open and eyes closed, both directions. So let's go. When I think about whatever your goal is, I welcome beneficial change, even if I don't know how to. When I think about whatever your goal is, I welcome beneficial change, even if I don't know how to. When I think about whatever your goal is, I welcome beneficial change, even if I don't know how to. When I think about whatever your goal may be, I welcome beneficial change, even if I don't know how to. Okay, just take a nice deep breath in and out. Okay, then finally, all done. I like to bring in the Soma bottle. It gives us some extra background and insights. And the bottle that came up is the blue-green bottle, the Atlantean heart bottle. And this is all about heart issues. It's about choice and purpose. And yeah, I'm not going to go through all of the information on here, but what I will do is I will put the information, as always, into the notes, and so you're able to read through that and just see how that relates to you. There is an affirmation with this. I express love and truth. I express love and truth. I express love and truth. Okay, so let's quickly just take a moment again. I want to just very quickly check some of those pre-tests that we started with. On your side, just maybe close your eyes, just slow deep breathing. And I want you to just feel into these sentences I'm going to be reading. I'm dowsing at the same time just to check whether the reaction is better or different, whatever. So let's go. Do you feel off balance or disorganized in relation to your goal? Can you feel yourself achieve your goal? Can you sustain your energy to meet the goal? Okay, so they're all good. Okay, so with any kinesiology session, we normally give you homework. You have some homework already that came up in the session. Let's just go have a look at what is in here. We had, you could work with your specific affirmation if you wanted to. Grounding, you're definitely going to want to do. That's your 5 minutes per day in the sun. You don't need to do any of the other corrections again, like any of the points that we rubbed. Those are all done. Read through the Aura Soma notes and see if there's anything that calls back. And then the support and the homework that comes up is writing and commitment. So what does that mean for you? Writing, could it be a blog, a book, or what is it that you need to write? And what commitment do you need to make? So how does commitment and writing fit in together? So that is your homework, and that is our session. We're all done with that. So what I would say is just take middle finger and index finger, just middle finger, and just press it behind the ear. The mastoid process, the round bone behind the ear, just press. And maybe take 2 fingers and give yourself a little bit of a tap on your forehead. Tap, tap. And that's just to say, okay, session done. So drink lots of water. Let's see how all of this pans out. It would be interesting to see if any of these of the information related to where you are and how it also pans out. So I send you lots of love and light, and I will see you in our next healing session. Take care and have a beautiful week ahead.